kind of don't even want to touch it. It's so beautiful. Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to A&S Motorcycles here in Sacramento, California. And today, walking into the showroom, we saw the brand new V4 S for 2020. And I knew Randy wasn't gonna let me use it, so I didn't even ask. And then he comes up to me and says, hey, we got the new V4 S. And I jumped on the opportunity. So today we're gonna be taking this all new, refined V4S out on the road, giving you guys some updates of what they've changed in the V4S, and let's see how it all performs out on the main road. So let's get geared up, take a look around the bike, and we'll see you guys out on the road. All right, guys, well, it sure isn't as fancy as some of the bike's keys that I've been on. But we don't need fancy key because we have an absolutely gorgeous, fancy bike. The new Panigale V4 S. I am so excited to be on this bike. I've always loved this bike, don't get me wrong. Now, I'm going to talk about the only reason why I don't own one of these. $30,000. That's the only reason why I don't own this bike. But we got a cold start. We were able to get a cold start on this thing earlier. And my goodness. So I just came off of the Rocket 3, which is a completely opposite of this bike. My feet were way out here and I was way up here. And now we get back to home where I'm more comfortable in this sport bike. So I'm gonna let this thing warm up, and you guys can see the instrument cluster is very nice. We've got, let's go over real quick while this warms up. Suspension, Öhlins suspension, front and rear, all digital computerized. So very, very nice suspension. Öhlins electronic steering damper right up front. Brembo front, rear, all the way around. Beautiful that they've got the Brembo Master for the brakes and the Brembo Master for the clutch. Absolutely gorgeous, love it. Just sitting in the cockpit, it looks great. Big, nice, tall windscreen, which is very nice. I'm assuming there's an even taller, but I'm not even sure that you need an even taller windscreen. All right, guys, so let's see, we're in sport mode. So you can see here, we've got our electronic brake control over here. And then we can go up to our dynamic traction control, dynamic wheelie control. So all of our different gauges over here. So we can change this and we can go select and then change the different modes, right? Electronic braking, so we can go up to 1 or 2. If we want to go and change our dynamic wheelie control, we can change this and turn down the wheelie control or turn up the wheelie control. This is what was missing from the BMW S1000. Thank you, Ducati, for allowing me to go in and change these particular settings, because for a sport bike rider that is trying to benefit from the electronic aids, absolutely a must. So thank you. We got our high beams over here, and then we've got our off, and then we can turn on our automated lights, or our what am I trying to say, our daytime running lights. So very nice. Let's go ahead and turn on the daytime running lights without the high beams. Good God, such a different feel from sitting on that Rocket 3. Sorry, that Rocket 3 kind of took my kind of blew me away, took some words out of my mouth. This thing is definitely also. So I got the opportunity to ride one of the first V4 S's out. Get some mirrors adjusted. So when the V4 S came out a few years back, I was able to get on one at Thunder Hill, and I really enjoyed it. Now I have been on a V4R, and that thing terrified me, honestly. But what they've done here in 2020, and what's been nice about the 2020, is they've taken a lot of customer feedback and a lot of race feedback, and they have refined this bike to have better throttle response, better throttle mapping with the fly-by-wire, better shifting, which is already the shifting. I'm gonna put this shifter up on the top of the bench because it is flawless. There's no clunk, there's no nothing. The thing just shifts very, very nice. Except for that one, but I didn't pull it very hard, so that's my fault. So vibration, 5,000 RPMs in second gear, little bit in the thighs, but nothing major, not too bad. Seat is hard seat, but it does kind of have this suede style grip material. So I think when you're on this thing on the track, I think you guys are going to enjoy this seat because it kind of keeps you a little bit more planted. So you can see the daytime running lights up in the front. Very nice, very nice. Man, just so the electronic suspension, they did a fine tune on the electronic suspension, nothing major, but they did raise the bars up a teeny bit for a little different ergonomics for the steering. So it's supposed to help you get into the corner a little bit better when you're out on the track. So that's nice. They kind of brought that up. The sound of this thing is gorge. Now, it's clear we don't need to talk about the horsepower too much because it is one of the horsepower kings. 214 horsepower, which is just insane. And I feel like, you know what? I did my homework. I'm sorry, guys. I want to say 94 foot-pounds of torque is too high. I think it's 74, but I apologize. It's either 74 or 94. But the V4, because it brought up that horsepower, it really brought those torque numbers down because the torque's not as needed. But very usable power and torque. Fifth gear, 4,500 RPMs. It's got a decent roll on. Nothing major, obviously, in fifth gear. That's stupid. And I don't need to use a clutch. So I want to check out, because one of my gripes with speed shifter, quick shifters, is can I be on the throttle a little bit? Can I be on the throttle a little bit in order to shift down, or can I be off the throttle a little bit to shift up? Now, some of you guys are going to be like, why is that important? Because, look, we're not always on track with this thing. I know it's a track monster, but let's face it, we're not always on the track with this thing. So when we are around town, it is nice to kind of have some nice smooth shifts. And sometimes we don't need to be in the extreme, you know, full brake position in order to be downshifting, or full acceleration to be upshifting. So I would like to be able to, you know, be in a corner and know that, all right, I got a downshift right now. So I'm about medium throttle and it shifts just fine. But like right now, I want to downshift. It won't let me. So I got about a quarter throttle on, and it'll allow me to downshift on the throttle. And it won't allow me to, so about a quarter throttle, so that'll answer you guys' questions if you're concerned with that. If you're about a quarter of the throttle, it will allow you to up or downshift. Now, some of you guys say, why is that important? Well, BMW allows you to up and downshift while you're on the throttle and off the throttle. But when you are on the Yamaha R1M, it doesn't allow you to downshift unless you're completely off the throttle or you're on the throttle like about halfway. And again, I'm using my clutch. What am I using my clutch for? Wow. Just sitting back and looking at this thing, guys. So let's go into our different modes. So we're going to go into, so we got our different modes down below, so we can scroll through our average speed. So this is our little clock down at the bottom. Average speed, air temperature 53 degrees, our tripometer number 2, 8.4, fuel consumption, settings, total miles, trip. So and then of course you can reset that. So it was kind of a little odd while I was sitting there. It sounded like the bike kind of went into the exhaust valves definitely closed and quieted this thing down, but when I put it in first, you can hear it open back up. So maybe in idle mode, we'll see at the next stoplight, it sounds like it kind of goes into that kind of a quiet mode. I'm not sure why you want it to be in quiet mode. You're on a Ducati V4 S. So some of the exterior features that they've added to this, obviously you guys have clearly seen the winglets up in front. And they have added them. They are not carbon fiber, so I think the price of them are going to be relatively cheap for you droppers. But the front end is a plexiglass front end. And they say, the website says the nose and windscreen. So obviously the windscreen, but I'm not sure about how much of the nose is plexiglass, or maybe just the light assembly. But they have added the winglets up front for added stability at high speeds. They found that these winglets really do help with the drive down of the nose, which is real nice at the high speeds. And I will tell you that, you know, around town, it's not doing anything. This doesn't do anything while we're around town. So it's not going to affect you. And I will tell you, when I rode the V4R on track, I could only really feel the winglets a couple times. You really, really, really have to be booking on this thing in order to get these winglets to kind of work for you. So it's really, I think a lot of people like the style of the winglets. So for 90% of you, it's an aesthetic thing. The aero package that they put on this thing, it's not a functional, although it is very functional, but 90% of us aren't going to be able to get this thing to function because although I rode the V4R, I was terrified because obviously I didn't want to wreck someone else's bike because Jerry let me ride his bike. But you know, I was on track and I was, you know, kind of booking a little bit on that thing. So I think really aesthetics is most of what you guys are going to get off of the aero package. The looks, the fact that it looks like a V4R with the price tag of a V4 S. But I really like how Ducati, and they say this on their website, that they gathered a lot of information not only from customers, but pro riders and amateur riders to refine this bike to make it even better. BMW, I hope you're listening, because I still, the buzz of the BMW S1000 is just, there's just nothing out there about the BMW S1000, anything good at least. Some people are just starting to get their bikes. So I know, all right, let's talk about the V4 and the bumps that it had when it was released. I hope that BMW looks at what Ducati has done to make this bike what it is, because it's a very, very nice bike, and they've made it so rideable. Get out here on the freeway. So they've made this thing so rideable and so nice. So the power just doesn't even come on until 8,000 RPMs. But holy mother, is this thing a rocket? All right, little breather. We're back to earth after slightly taking off. I apologize for 5 miles an hour over the speed limit back there. Whew. Wow. So suspension is decent. Sport bike suspension. I don't think it's too major. I'm not sure that I would necessarily change it right now, but getting into it, obviously you can get into your electronic brake control, ABS. I think it's dynamic traction control, so I believe it is in here, in the different settings in the suspension settings. But they changed it a teeny bit. They changed the menu just a teeny bit on here. But the TFT display is absolutely beautiful on this thing. And if we push and hold the mode button, and we can go into our modes, and we can go into race mode, exit, street, sport, race, over here, close the throttle. We're in full race mode. Our ABS is only engaged for the front. So now we're in full race mode. So let's see what we hear with the exhaust. And maybe that was because it was in that kind of sport mode, race mode. Maybe it keeps open. Now on their website it says that this is an Akrapovic exhaust, and I'll tell you that the it doesn't say it anywhere on the outside that this is an Akrapovic exhaust. So I can't confirm or deny that this is actually an Akrapovic exhaust, because it really doesn't say it anywhere, although the website says that it is. So Akrapovic may have just teamed up with Ducati, as they usually would, to put a nice exhaust on this thing. And what gets me about the Euro 5 and the sounds of the BMW, and why the BMW had taken down the throttle response, was because of the noise. This thing is so noisy. So I don't quite get it. I don't quite get it. I'm baffled by the BMW S1000. Quite disappointed. And I'm glad that Ducati has really kept up and figured out this thing and made this thing not only look as gorgeous as it does, but to run as well as it does, because it runs very, very nice. So race mode, definitely a lot more throttle response to the race mode. Definitely a lot more throttle response. So again, we can get in and we can push our mode buttons. And then what's nice is we can also go over and, my gloves kind of got in the way, is you can get over and you can change your dynamic wheelie control and your dynamic traction control. Get back to the normal gauge cluster. But yeah, you can change the cluster quite a bit. Now, I'm going to ask Randy about this because I don't know if it's just simply an adjustment, but this front brake is like nothing. It is like jello. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or if it's just this has got a little bit of air in the line, but I'm not impressed at all by these brakes. In fact, I don't like the brakes. They should feel like you're braking, and you can see that there's a squish before the brakes engage. So again, I don't know if that's how they're supposed to be, but I wouldn't expect the brakes to be this way. So I think it's a one-off thing. So I won't bash on the brakes too much. Not too bad comfort-wise on this thing, really. It's the seat's a little bit hard, but when you're on it kind of for a little bit of time, it starts to feel a little bit more comfortable. And the clutch lets out about midway through. It's not at the bottom, so I kind of like the clutch to release a little bit more on the bottom. Yeah, I like the clutch a little bit, just almost immediate, and then I also want the brakes pretty much immediate. So two things that I'll slightly complain on this particular bike, but again, it might just simply be a hydraulic or a pressure problem. So get this thing up on the pad next to the Rocket 3, which I just demoed. Off we go. I like it. Oh, one thing I want to gripe about is the kickstand. They put the peg for the kickstand kind of up here in front of the shifter, which you're going to scratch your boot. Your boot is going to scratch the paint. You're going to want to kick it behind, but there's not much room. So kickstand design not on point. Off we go. Beautiful tail with, again, the arrow cutouts for aerodynamic flows, single-sided swing arm, beautiful wheels, Diablo Super Corsas. We've got a 260 17 in the rear, and then of course the 120 in the front. Very nice, very nice. But $30,000 is what's keeping me from this bike. 30 grand. But I guess you can also get the V4R, which is just right inside. Let's go ahead and walk in here real quick. What's up, guys? The V4R, they still have one here in stock, ready to be sold. So you can see the, you know, the, obviously where the aero package come in, but you've got the carbon fiber aero package. We're at a $10,000 more for the, actually, wait, did you guys know? Wait, is this right? $35,000? Yep. But guys, if you guys have been looking for a V4R, they've got this thing down $35,000. Give them a call. But a lot of the refinements from the V4S to the V4R, or from the V4R to the V4S, has taken over again, the winglets and whatnot. So all right, guys, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys are a little bit informed, a little bit of the newer stuff that's going on, the refinements of this thing. It's a beautiful bike. But if you guys are interested in the V4R, let them know here at A&S. Or if you're looking for an S, they have 2 S's in stock ready to be sold, and price tag's about $30,000. So for $5,000 more, you can get an R. Come and buy that R, guys. But until then, we'll see you next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that like button, and give me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the refined 2020 Ducati V4 S. See you guys next video. Bye, guys.